what is the rule about it? When should you borrow money? When should you use your money? What's the advantages to borrowing money? That's a good question, Steve.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
That's a good question, Steve. I'm killing right now, I'm killing.
It is a great question because I'm going to start here. You have to understand how capitalism works. Okay? Underscore capital. Underscore capital. The construct, and many of you know this, the construct of borrowing money is an essential part of capitalism. The corollary to that is essential that you pay it back and demonstrate your capacity, your capability, your willingness to pay it back no matter what. And in some cases, if you think about buying a house, this is the simplest example. If you buy a house, let's say it's $100,000, and you go to the bank, they want you to put $40,000. Unless you got really, really good credit and you've been borrowed a bunch of money, they'll be like, only 25. Okay? Now, once you think about it, you buy this house for $100,000, and if you got really, really good credit, you were paying next to nothing for that money, 2%. Okay? Now let's assume you paid that, and 3 years later, 4 years later, that house is worth $400,000. You show up at the banks and say, I got a buyer for the house at $400,000. You then pay that $100,000 back in debt. Remember, or that $60,000 back in debt. You made the difference between the $40,000 that you put in, okay, and the $360,000 that you got after paying that debt back. So $340,000 if you pay that debt back. That's your return. That's called a levered return. Okay? You put in $40,000 and you ended up making $340,000. Okay? Because you paid back the $60,000. That's how capitalism works in a bank. So then you can go and do it the next one. Do that 4 times, do that 5 times, and that's how you create leverage on the equity. The private equity business actually isn't that different, except we borrow in the billions.